Malliotakis. Congressman, great to see you. I want to start in your state if we can. Gun violence is surging 73% compared to last year, according to the NYPD. Supreme Court Justice Dennis Boyle, appointed by Mike Bloomberg, released a reputed gangbanger who murdered an innocent father of two. Congresswoman, the wrong people are in charge of New York, and innocent Americans are paying a heavy price with their lives in some cases.
That's right. And it's not just the liberal judges that have been appointed. It is just radical changes that have taken place throughout the state of New York. The bail laws that Governor Cuomo and the state legislature have put in place. I mean, they were releasing everyone from people who committed homicide to felony drug dealers to those who commit manslaughter. We actually had to fight 7 months just to get those crimes back onto the list in which a judge can use discretion. But there are a whole slew of other crimes out there in which people are automatically released back into the street, regardless of their criminal history. And you find some of these individuals, including two homeless individuals who attacked Asian women in New York City. One had 77 prior arrests. The other had 40. And this just shows multiple failures on the part of, number one, the bail law, number two, Mayor de Blasio's Thrive NYC program, which was supposed to address mental illness, completely squandered, billions of dollars, this program run by his wife. But also, it is the thousands of individuals that the governor and the mayor released back onto our streets during COVID. It is the parole board appointed by Governor Cuomo that has released over 16 cop killers back onto our streets, plus other convicted murderers. It is the mayor taking away the plain clothes unit of the NYPD, which went after violence in New York City. So it's a combination of things. The defund the police movement, cutting $1 billion of the NYPD budget. If we unraveled and undid all these things that I've just mentioned, you would see crime lower in New York, and you would see public safety restored.
Well, sadly, left-wing lawlessness isn't confined to just to New York. It's responsible for multiple crises at the southern border. Isn't it rich that Harris and Biden, they create a disaster, and they both head out on foreign trips?
Well, no, you're absolutely right, and this is typical of liberal politicians. Mayor de Blasio created the disaster in New York City, and now he wants the ATF, the Federal Firearms Bureau, to come in and help. It's something that I've said should be done, but it's because Mayor de Blasio won't let the NYPD do their job. And you're seeing the same thing happen on the federal level. In fact, the policies that I've just discussed, they're introducing these policies at the federal level. And I've warned, this is what's happened to New York. Let's not do it to the rest of the country. New York City is a sanctuary city, as you know. New York State is a sanctuary state. And you're seeing people crossing the border. If you talk to Customs and Border Protection, Vice President Harris, you will find that they have identified people who are convicted felons that have been previously deported. There are sex offenders, registered sex offenders. There are also individuals who are on the terrorist watch list. They've created this crisis, and the cartels are profiting about $500 million a month. So it's a humanitarian crisis because people are being exploited and put into sex trafficking and child trafficking. And then you have all the other nefarious activities that are happening at the open parts of our border as CBP is being inundated with processing and overseeing people at facilities. Gun trafficking, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, all happening. And, this is the cartel planned it this way. They are creating this diversion so that way the CBP is not actually looking over the porous parts of our border.